Okay. So the fourth Dandaka we started. We saw the first 10, I think the 10 or the 11 meanings. And I told you that I'm trying to put a certain pictorial view of that. So what we'll do is I'll try to put, it's a PPT slide. We'll go through each one and try to see how it is reflected on that. So Suruchira Navaratna Pitha Sthite Susthite. So this is Devi sitting in her Pitha. Then Ratna Padmasane, Ratna Simhasane. Her Simhasana is studded with gems. Shankha Padma Dvayopashrite Vishrute. Shankhanidhi, Padmanidhi on either sides of Devi. Tatra Vignesha Durga Vatu Kshetra Palayrite. So we got Vignesha, Durga, Vatu Bhairava, Vatuka Bhairava, and Kshetrapala. They are the four of them joining. They are around Devi. Mattamatanga Kanya Samuhanvite. Samuhanvite is surrounding. Who are surrounding? Matangi Kanya. Matangi, the Matangi Kanyas are surrounding. Manjula Menakadyangana Manite Bhairavair. Manjula Menakadyangana. So the Anganas or Apsara ladies like Manjula, Menaka, etc. Those Apsaras are surrounding her. Manite. So they are there and adoring her or worshipping her. Bhairavair Ashtabhir Veshtite. So the Ashtabhairavas are also surrounding. Devi Vamadibhis Shaktibhis Sevite. Vama, Jeshtha, Raudri. We said there are three Devis representing Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. And they are also around that. Dhatri Lakshmi Adi Shakti Ashtakaihi Samyute. Dhatri Lakshmi means Santana Lakshmi. One of the Lakshmi is Santana Lakshmi. So like that, there are Ashta Lakshmis. Dhairya Lakshmi, Vijaya Lakshmi, Adi Lakshmi, so on and so forth. So those Lakshmis are Shakti Bhi Sevite. All these Shaktis are offering their worship to her. No, Shakti Ashtakaihi Sanyute. So they are again surrounding her. Matruka Mandalair Mandite. So the Matrikas, there are two ways of looking at Matrikas, we said. One is the alphabets. The other is the Sapta Matrikas. Okay? So we'll just take for the conversation here, the Matrikas as these, the Aksharas. They are forming a mandala. And as they are forming a mandala, they are mandite, which means they are also like an ornament to her. Okay. Then Yaksha Gandharva Siddhangana Mandalair Archite. So they are also, they are Yaksha Gandharva Siddha, the ladies of the Yaksha Kula, the Gandharva Kula and the Siddha Kula. They are also surrounding Mandalair Archite. They are forming a mandala around. Bhairavi Samvrite. Bhairavis are now, so there are Ashta Bhairavas we saw. There are about 52 Bhairavis. So these Bhairavis are surrounding her. Okay. So this is the visual. Now, let's see how it appears when we look at it this way. So if somebody can just read out each line to me and then we will. So the first one is what?
Suruchira Navaratna Pita Sthite Susthite.
And then Ratna
Padmasane, Ratna
Simhasane. So Devi is in the center. Okay. And then you have what? Shankha Padma
Dvayo Pashrite Vishrute.
Vishrute. The Shankhanidhi and Padmanidhi. Devi's right side is Shankhanidhi, holding a Shankha. Padmanidhi is holding a lotus on the left side of Devi. Next, another.
Tatra Vignesha Durga Vatu Kshetra Palair Yute.
You have Durga, Vatu, so Vignesha, Durga, Vatuka Bhairava, and Kshetrapala. Four of them are appearing here. Okay. Vignesha, Durga, Vatuka Bhairava, Kshetrapala. These are the 4 deities around surrounding Devi. And then next,
Matta Matanga Kanya Samohanvite.
all Matangi Kanyas are again surrounding Devi. Okay. Then
Manjula Menaka Jangana Manite Bhairavai Rashta Vir Vashtite. Veshtite.
Veshtite. So you've got
Sudu?
the Manjula
Sudu?
Menaka.
Vatu Kshetrapala is Vatu Kshetrapala is Vatu Bhairava, right?
Vatuka Bhairava. Correct.
But it is not two. Vatu Kshetrapala.
No. So
Vatu-
there are 2 ways. One is looking at it as Vatuka Bhairava. Vatu is Vatuka Bhairava, and there is another Kshetrapala.
Okay. It is not Vatu Bhairava as Kshetrapala.
No. So he is also a Kshetrapala. See, Vatuka Bhairava is also a Kshetrapala, but then you can also have a Kshetrapala who is actually, if you go to villages, there are different Kshetrapalas. Right?
Okay.
So that is also considered as a Kshetrapala. So Vatuka Bhairava is there, which is the fierce form of Bhairava, because there are other Bhairavas who will come now. Now Bhairavair Ashtabhir Veshtite is there, right? So there are other Ashtabhairavas that will appear. Now after this, the Manjula Menakadyangana. So you Manjula and the other Apsaras are surrounding her. Okay, Manjula, Menaka and the other Apsaras around. And then you have the Ashtabhairavas. Oh, is the Vamadibhi Sevite came here now?
Yes. Devi Vamadibhis Shakti
Devi Namadi Sakti Sevite.
So you've got the Vama, Jeshtha and the Raudri. Okay, because there are 3, they appear in a triangle. And then you have the Ashtabhairavas. Bhishana Bhairava, Samhara Bhairava, Asitanga Bhairava, Ruru Bhairava, and so on and so forth. There are Ashtabhairavas around. And Ashtabhairavas are by the Ashtadik, by the 8 directions. Okay. Then what is the next one?
Dhatri Lakshmiadi Shaktya Yashtakai Samyute.
So you've got the Ashtalakshmi, Adi Lakshmi, Dhanya Lakshmi, Dhairya Lakshmi, Gaja Lakshmi, Santana Lakshmi, Vijay Lakshmi, Vidya Lakshmi, and Dhana Lakshmi. These are the Ashtalakshmis. And then?
Matruka Mandalair Mandite.
Okay, so then you have the Matrukas around A, E. So the 16 vowels and the 35 consonants. Okay, from A to Ksha. So if you see, it starts from A and ends in Ksha. Okay, Akshara. It's a simple way to remember how Aksharas are. Starts with A and ends with Ksha. Akshara. Okay, 16 vowels and 35 consonants. And then last one.
Yaksha Gandharva Siddhangana Mandalair Archite.
Okay, so you've got the Yaksha Gandharva Siddhangana. So they are also surrounding here. Okay, so you got the Yaksha Gandharva Siddha. So all those ladies are here. The ladies of that clan are here. And then finally,
Bhairavi Samvrite.
So this is finally the 52 Bhairavis are surrounding. So it forms like a mandala. Okay. So when we don't know if this is how he saw it. We don't know if this is the way Mahakavi Kalidasa saw it, but clearly he saw something like this, like a mandala, all of these beings. He probably had an aerial view of some sort. Okay. And he experienced that there are so many of these Devatas and Devis and Devatas around the whole Ratna Pitha here. So Devi is sitting right here and all of them are surrounding here. Right?
ரொம்ப நல்லா இருக்கு குருஜி. ரொம்ப நல்லா இருக்கு. அப்படியே ரொம்ப நல்லா மனசுல அப்படியே பதியற மாதிரி இருக்கு.
இது ஆமா. So it's ஒரு மண்டல மாதிரி வந்திருக்கு பாருங்க. So and so you follow what is, because when you just read what is written or listen to it and understand separately, each one has a meaning. But then if you look at it collectively, it actually forms a mandala. And I'm sure, see, everything about Devi is a mandala, Sri Chakra is a mandala, All of that is mandala. So most of these, when you talk about energy or Shakti, it is primarily a mandala. So there must be some sort of an experience you would have had of a mandala, that everything is surrounding Devi, and at different levels. So it's quite interesting. If you see, you've got Bhairavis on the outside and Bhairavas on the inside. Okay, and this can be analyzed. See, the interesting part is we can look at it and analyze it the way it is. It's been perceived, or the way the experience is had. We can keep looking at it. If you could look at it, this is the Vama, Raudri, and Jeshtha are the gunas, three gunas, right? So these govern. If you look at it, the way it is kind of placed, also it governs the whole creation. Whole creation is governed by the three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas. So they kind of, they're central to the whole experience that you have, right? And then you've got all the Lakshmis, and then here you see all the matra, the matrikas are here, which means these are also the way you perceive the world. The world is perceived only through form and sound and form, name and form, rupa, nama rupa. And nama rupa is represented as sound, as aksharas. So he must have had some kind of a fascinating, movies lala, or sometimes they show, right? People have this, they have these transcendental experiences. They see galaxies and stars, and so I'm sure Kalidasa would have had some experience of that kind. Right? And so as I was building it, my daughter helped me with the color, because I said, Matangi feel it's like green, dark green kind of color. So, and it's also quite meditative. So if you just look at this mandala, you can spend a little time, and each one, right? So you look at it, like for example, Bhairavis, of course, I couldn't place, there are only 36 Bhairavis placed here, but there are 52 Bhairavis. And you look at them, the Bhairavis are all around here. And so you got 52 Bhairavis surrounding the whole thing, almost like they're encompassing the outermost circle. And then you have the Yaksha Gandharva Siddha, and then the Matrikas, and then you have the Ashtalakshmi, and then you have the Vama Jeshtha Raudri, and then you have the Bhairavas, and then the Apsaras, and the Matangi Kanyas, and the Durga, Vignesha Durga Vatuka, Kshetrapala, and then Shankhapadvaridhi, Nidhi, and then Devi.
அப்படியே எனக்கு 3-dimensional view மாதிரி தெரியுது. நேரு மாதிரி
Correct.
அப்படியே highest pedestal வந்து
Devi is sitting in the innermost. So if you look at it in a horizontal view, it is like you're going through all of these. And there was a conversation as I was having with someone the other day, to say that, do you have to really go through all of them? Abdinash, do we have to start praying to all Bhairavis now? And do I have to start praying to all the Yaksha Gandharva Siddhas? Do I have to then go through the Ashta Lakshmis and so on and so forth, right? One way of looking at it is, to get to this, you can hold any one thread, right? Pick up a thread, and then it'll possibly just hold on to it, it'll take you inwards. Because usually what happens is, these deities or these energies pass you off from one to the other. You may not be able to, so it's like saying, a lot of people have such experiences, right? With Mahaperiyava, this experience has happened. Somebody went to Mahaperiyava, and they wanted to visit Ramana Maharshi, and they were so desirous. So what happened is, the son, okay, so this is the story. The mother wanted to visit Ramana Maharshi, and the son said, okay, let's go. And then they probably missed the way, or they took the wrong
Why are you taking me to this Kanchi Pariyava? I was telling you that I wanted to meet Ramana.
I want to meet Ramana. Choluma.
She is very reluctant to come inside and have a look at him. எனக்கு ரமணர் தான் எல்லாமே, நான் ரமணர் தான் போய் சேவிப்பேன், அந்த மாதிரிலாம் ஏதோ சொல்லுவா. அப்புறம் இரு ஒரு நிமிஷம், நான் உள்ள போய் சேவிச்சுட்டு வரேன்னோ ஏதோ. அப்புறம் இவர், ஐ திங்க் ஹி instantly feels that this old woman is sitting outside. உன்னோட யார் வந்தான்னு இன்னும் கேட்பாரு. ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி அம்மா வந்திருக்கு. அவருக்கு ரொம்ப ஒரு இதுவாக இருக்கும், என்னடா உள்ள வரல அப்படின்னு இப்படி சொல்றது பாரு. ஓ உங்க அம்மா வந்திருக்காளான்னு இன்னும் கேட்பாரு. அப்புறம் he'll himself move out. He'll remove that காஷாயம் and drape it இந்த ரமணர் இது கோவணம் கட்டிக்கிற மாதிரி கட்டின்றார். And all of a sudden, this old lady sees Ramana standing in front of her, and she has tears in her eyes. She falls at his feet and stuff. So yeah.
Super. Thank you. So this is the experience of that lady, that she is able to see Ramana in the form of, or she's able to see Ramana's form in Mahaperiyava, right? And interesting, I just saw a chat message. Today is Mahaperiyava Jayanti. Mama is saying. Interesting. So, see, our pati pesito. So, but so what I'm saying is, the form that you experience, we spoke about this form yesterday also. Form that you experience is something that we hold very dear through compassion. It can superimpose itself on that which you are propitiating or worshipping, right? So it's possible that, like, for example, a lot of people have this doubt: do I do Matangi or Raja Shyamala, or do Varahi, or do I do Bhairavi, or do I do this Devi, that Devi? Why these different forms exist is, there are purposes. There's a reason why each of these forms exists, because there is a specific energy that form represents. Correct? Like, for example, if you are if there is fear, what usually they say, chant Trayambakam mantra. Trayambakam jamaya sugandhim pushtivardhanam. There is fear, they will say that, because that mantra has the ability to remove fear. Now, if you are unwell, they'll say chant Dhanvantri mantra for health. So the Madri, there are deities and there are forms, or there are mantras that are available to offer different results on a transactional plane. Okay. On a transactional plane, it can offer transactional results. You're asking, Shankanidhi, Padmanidhi, they are so close to Devi, and they are one of the Navanidhis, the goddess of wealth, or the gods of wealth in the realm of Kubera, right? Now they are so close to Devi. Does it mean if I hold to them, will I get to Devi? Right? Shankanidhi and Padmanidhi are so close. So then I pray to Kubera and I do all that, right? Now the point is, what are you engaging them for? If you are engaging each one of them for the transactional benefits they bring, that is what they will bring. They will bring you the transactional benefit. But if you hold to them saying that I am somehow feeling connected with you, I am feeling connected with this form, I feel like, for example, you go to Hanuman temple. Some Hanuman temples we went during our Dwaraka Yatra. There is this Hanuman temple in that island. What is the name? What Dwaraka was that? Bet Dwaraka. In Bet Dwaraka, there is a temple, Hanuman temple. And the Hanuman is nothing but, in fact, even in Kashi, there's Hanuman. The Hanuman is nothing but on the wall, there is an orange color that is there. A little bit of form is there, but that's all it is. And there are probably eyes there. So for some people, it may be like, oh, I don't relate to this, I don't connect to this. But some people may find it so beautiful, so endearing. So we don't know why we get associated or attracted to a certain form. Now, is that form greater than something else, or is that form lower? Should I now move to another form and things like that? When that arises in our mind, one is important, we need to recognize what are you propitiating that form for. If you're going to Hanuman and you're asking him strength, like for example, my wife is a very, she's a Hanuman Bhakta. She's always been associated with Hanuman. And she has been told when she was young not to pray to Hanuman so much, then she'll not get married because Hanuman was a bachelor.
They always say that about Pullayar and
Hanuman.
Anjaneer. ரொம்ப சுத்திட்டு இருந்தா கல்யாணமே ஆகாது.
Kalyana Agadhan. But she got married at 23. I mean, I wouldn't imagine somebody getting married earlier than that, right? So 23 is early enough. So she did get married. See, the important thing is what are you holding on to that form that you're praying to? It has a mantra, it has a yantra, it has a form, it has a tantra, way to worship. But if the intention is that, Lord, I love this form of yours, I feel some attachment to this form, some love towards this form, and I pray to you for your grace, for your love, to guide me in my life, to take me to the ultimate knowledge, to get me out of any kind of suffering that I have, and to give me that understanding. Now, if this is the prayer to whatever form, eventually it will lead you to Devi. It will lead you to the Bindu. It will take you to the center. Why? Because it is your intention that is driving your journey. But if your intention is to go to Hanuman and I want strength, I want balam, I want to be, so powerful like you and all of that, those are transactional benefits you're asking him. Will he not give them? Will he not give those? He will give those. But then if you really want some other, then you would think that, oh, maybe if I need higher understanding, then I have to go to some other deity. Because now your engagement with Hanuman is only to obtain some transactional benefits. So it is purely left to us to figure out amongst this mandala of goddess and goddesses. We say 33 koti, 33 crores. Crores is not necessarily the translation. They say there are 33 types of devatas that are there. Like 12 Adityas, 11 Rudras, Ashtavasukal, and so on and so forth.
Ashwini, and Ashwini.
2 Ashwinis, Ashtavasukal, 11 Rudras, 12 Adityas. You sum them up, it's about 33 types of devatas that are there. That is one way of looking at it. Or the other way, we would say that, maybe at that time, the population in India or this Jambu Dvipa was roughly about that much only. 33 kodi. So maybe that is every human being was considered as God. Now, whatever it is, the important thing is whenever you see and you go to Sri Chakra, you will see different deities. Within the Sri Chakra formation, you will see different deities. Anima Siddhe, Lagima Siddhe, Mahima Siddhe. You start like that from the outside. And then you have the various matrikas will be there. So there are many, many deities within the Sri Chakra formation. The point is that, and then there is Lalita Mahatripura Sundari sitting inside. And then you'll say, yeah, but then I don't feel like connecting with Lalita Tripura Sundari. I feel like connecting with this particular deity. That's all right. But what is the intention? What is the intention of connecting with that deity? That needs to be established. So when Kalidasa is showing that all of these are all the created world, what you see here around, and you consider yourself as Devi, right? For example, you consider yourself as Devi. All of this is the created world around you. And the way it's also said that if you think yourself as Devi, as the central Bindu that is there inside you, then you create this whole mandala around you. And this mandala is your creation. So nobody else can enter into this mandala without your permission, without you granting them allowance. Because right now, the way we live life, we get so impacted by everything that is around us, right? our environmental conditions, our social conditions, our relationship conditions, our work conditions, everything is impacting us constantly. Now imagine yourself, your Devi sitting here right inside, and all of this is around you. And this is, see, imagine this is, understand this. This is important because it's the way we establish our minds. If we tell that no, there are Bhairavas around me, nobody can touch me, nobody will touch you. You got to believe in that. I'll say, I've got all the Lakshmis with me, auspiciousness, Dhana Lakshmi, Dhanya Lakshmi, Virya Lakshmi, all of them are there with me. Then all of the auspiciousness will be given. Right? Because all of this becomes your how you establish this mandala around you. So look at this also as an aura that we create around us. The kind of aura that we create. So we create the right kind of aura, the right kind of energies will surround us. So this is one way of looking at it. Say we create this mandala. The other way is if you consider yourself as Devi, which means you consider yourself as Devi means not that I'm Lalita Tripura Sundari, not like that. The essence of Devi, the essence of this Parashakti, Parameshwari, or whatever, Sadashiva, Narayana, whatever that Param Purul that is there, it is inside here. If we constantly remind ourselves of that supreme consciousness is right inside, what will come around you will be this. You will attract only these energies, these positive energies that you will attract, which will also work as a shield for you.
Mahoday, it could be silly, but it's just looking at this in the spheres. So first in the Aksharangalna, it's like we start learning. Yeah, as children, we start learning. And then we go behind, we look for jobs and we get money. So the Ashtalakshmis are here. And then we have all the different emotions, Krodha, whatever, Unmatta and all the, emotions as a teen or whatever. And then we are behind beauty, we look for a partner in life and stuff. And then we are all, kind of getting closer and closer to that
Life
self-actualization.
journey, through your life
Yeah.
journey.
Matangi is that higher knowledge that we start
Mm.
seeking at 40s or whatever, 30s. And then we really understand, what are the barriers left to break so that I can, I felt.
Absolutely, very nice. So that's very nicely put.
What I have a feeling is all these are all pointers pointing towards up. Like now the three dimensional எப்படி பார்க்குறேன் ஹரிசாண்டல்ல பார்த்தா த்ரீ dimensional ஃபைனலா தேவி இங்க இருந்து கீழே இருந்து பார்த்தாலும் தேவி தெரியும். All these are pointers. They just point you to the ultimate pure consciousness. எல்லாமே இல்லையா?
Correct. That is also beautiful. So like you're looking at everybody and everybody, all they are doing is just pointing. Anga parunga odin.
அதான். And Devi is ultimately pointing that it is the pure consciousness which is there.
Correct.
Which ultimately உள்ளே தான் இருக்குங்கிறது நம்ம வந்து ஃபைனலா வந்து we have to realize that.
Absolutely. Very nice. Very nice, Kalpaka. That is also, see, that, which is why I left it to kind of interpretation to each one of us. And I didn't want to, do so much on that. But we can interpret it in different ways and try to find some kind of sense around this. Because, see, we're not trying to force a meaning here. All we're saying is it's a beautiful experience. And it's a joyful state that Kalidasa was in, and he was obviously experiencing something very beautiful there, and he saw all kinds of things, all kinds of beautiful things around, and he transformed him in many ways, right? So like you're saying, maybe he saw life's journey through this process, or like maybe he saw like Mama saying he was going, I mean, in his visualization, he was just going around and he's saying everybody is kind of pointing in the same direction. And these are the people, these are the different energies that are there. And so,
Kalidasa, see, when he saw Devi, probably he has become a realist person, and he's seeing everybody around this. Probably he's seeing everybody around him. The மாதிரி இருக்கிறது வந்து probably he is visualizing.
Correct. No, absolutely. In fact, the next few verses you go, it'll just be this. He's kind of exploding here, right? This is almost like Arjuna having a Vishwarupa Darshanam, where he's exploding to say that, oh, I see this as you, I see the Meru Parvata, I see the Surya, Chandra, I see the Taras, I see the galaxies, all of that he is seeing, right? How Arjuna is seeing in a Vishwarupa Darshanam. Similarly, he's having an explosive experience where he's able to see so many deities and energies and forms that are. And then he's saying that this Devi, this Kali who's standing here, who's in the form of Matangi, everything is surrounding her, everything is going around her, everything is just coming to worship her, falling at her feet, and all of that. So the kind of visualization is, I mean, it's pretty much transcendental in a way, right? Because having a very explosive experience. And this, if you remember, this is like an episode that's happening in the night. He's going crying, his wife drives him away, and he cries, and he goes into the temple there, Kali's temple, and then he's weeping, and this is happening. And I'm sure this, and this has transformed him inside out, right? And the Kalidasa that we know today is pretty much an output of this whole experience. So I just felt that we should kind of live. I mean, can't really, I mean, I don't know, we've got to get the grace of Mother to be able to live that experience, but at least to explore the experience that he had, explore it in our own ways to see how it could have been so beautiful. And see, the other important thing is I'd like to state is that we shouldn't be looking for experiences also, right? It's important, right? Now that Kalidas has had this experience, now my association or my how do I put this? My sadhana should lead me to an experience of this sort is not the takeaway. The takeaway is that after this happened, all of Kalidasa's works are exuding with beautiful literature, right? Beautiful words and poetry and all of that. Because somewhere inside it had transformed him, and that continued to live with him. See, like for example, if you have one beautiful experience as a dream or as a vision or whatever, where your ishta or some experience, a very profound experience that occurs to you, then you'll notice that you will have a recall of that experience, not wanting to have that experience again, but not necessarily that, but to reassure yourself that all is well. Three idiots la cholluvaane. All is well. Like that. Because, see, understand this, experiences are fleeting. They come and go. You may have, so there is this Swamiji who I don't know if I narrated this in the satsang. There is one Swami Abhedananda, and I read a book of his called Mysticism and Science. About, I think, 15 years ago or so. I read this book, and then at that time, he explains the experience of this. He had an experience of realization. Okay, and he describes it. And he describes it as though he was a man of science. Okay, so he was a very man of scientific approach. He understood science and all that. But I wasn't sure what line of science he was in. But then he was also into spirituality. He went to some ashrams in India. He is, by the way, not an Indian by nationality. He was a Western, a person from the West. And he was going through, he did a lot of sadhana and all, and he had this explosive experience. And he describes it in the book. He describes saying that I didn't feel, so I had this movement, whirling movement. He saw some lights and all of that, very extraordinary experiences he had. And he didn't know where he was. And then when that happened, after that, the whole episode happened, then he came back, he felt he came back to the body, and then he didn't know how time had passed and so on and so forth. He's narrated that. Okay. So it seems quite fantastic, right? And then he explains that as his moment of realization. And then says after that something changed inside him. Okay. Now then I wrote to him. I was curious. I wrote an email to him. The book club pinadi, there is an email address. So I picked up the email address. I wrote to him. I said, I read this and all. And then I said, did this experience stay with you? This, you talk this as a realization. Did it stay with you, or was it just that one? Okay, now before that I was not realized and now I am realized. Was it like that? Then he said, so I was curious to know how it was for him. Then he said, which I believe is the right kind of experience that one has, right? But he said, no, that was an experience, yes, and it kind of transformed something inside me. But I had to work really hard to make it a living reality in me. But this is not written in the book, by the way. What I asked as an email and he responded, it's not written in the book. What's written in the book is this much about his experience. And of course, then he says how science also corroborates mystical experiences or mystical experience that are there. There is some kind of this thing and scientific evidences are there to this, that, and the other. That's the way the book goes, mysticism and science. But this, he said, no, I had to do a lot of sadhana. But what happens is, in your sadhana, whenever there are times when you feel, oh, maybe it's going in the right direction, maybe it's not, or maybe it is this, that, and the other, he would always make a reference back in his mind to say that, no, it was a beautiful experience and I experienced it and I got it. And so it is true. And of course, it was just an experience, but then this is possible. It's possible to be in a state of this joy and exuberance. This is important, right? And we all, I mean, I can tell it with certainty that all of us would have had some very profound experiences in our life at some point or the other, where there was a sense of grace. You felt a sense of grace, a sense of blessing, a sense of connection with the divine. We all would have felt that in our innermost core, right? We were sitting in a satsang and it's a closed group satsang, and I'm clearly all of us are pretty much of the same in the way we approach and see and experience life is similar, and we would have had these experiences of some kind, some profoundness. Point is, we don't keep looking for that profound experience. I'm not getting it anymore. That's not the point, because the next profound experience may be waiting there and you're missing it, thinking that I'm not having what I had, because the next one that's about to come may be completely different. See, profoundness is always felt. Notice this: profoundness is never felt in profoundness is never felt when you know of it. I don't know if I'm making sense. If you know if it's going to be this way and then you feel it, you won't feel profound. You'll feel something is profound only when you don't expect, and then something happens and then you feel really profound, right? This is how it is for us. Now, why is that happening? Because profoundness lies in newness. Profoundness always lies in something in the unknown. Profoundness lies in the unknown, and we should always be ready and prepared for that unknown. What we're doing is, in our mind, we're establishing a certain outcome. I want this experience to happen. I want to hear bells ringing. I want to smell vibhuti. I want to have colors going around my eyes. So these are experiences, or if I go to this temple, I should suddenly go into a state of samadhi. So we are already predefining. Profoundness is not there in predefinition. Profoundness happens when you least expect it. That is when because you are able to receive, but you're not prepared for it. You understand the difference between being able to receive but you're not prepared for an experience. You're not saying that, okay, now I go to that Sannadhi, I'll get this experience, or I go to this particular place, I get this experience, or today I'm going to sit down and I'm going to get this experience. No, that preparedness is not, you'll not experience that, but you make yourself receiving. Through our sadhana, we keep doing things that we become a recipient of grace, and then when it hits you, it'll hit us in a profound way, that experience, right? So this is what has happened to Kalidasa. And Kalidasa, that way, he has experienced this and he is sharing it through words so that we may experience, right? So, oh, there are some stories here. Ambal and Perivar are inseparable. Stories of Baba. Once there is an instance of a devotee reluctant to worship a guru apart from his. Sai Baba on that specific day wears Kashaya Vastra and tells his disciples that a guy would come to meet him. It is a surprise to see the devotee who steps in to see his guru, Golap Swami, in Sai Baba and his tears in his eyes. When transformation takes place with his energy, one will be expressing only in poetic verses, and that is why Kalidasa composed this Stotram on Devi. Right? So, let us not be too prepared for an experience or prepare for experiences. Let us be receiving for whatever she gives, and she will give. Right? She will give. All we need to do is to be receiving, because the next moment can be a profound moment. You'll never know. And that is what we work on. And Kalidasa, again, he was receiving. Remember this, Kalidasa wasn't prepared for what was happening there. He didn't expect to say that, okay, you're kicking me out of the house, I'll come back after writing Shyamala Dandakam. He didn't say that to his wife. He just went there and he made himself vulnerable. He was weeping, made himself vulnerable. That is one beautiful thing. We make ourselves vulnerable and allow Devi and Guru to provide that grace, and we be recipient of it. And when that happens, then beautiful experiences happen. And why do these experiences happen? It's an assurance. Because after a certain point, experiences become, like I was listening to Swami Brahmananda the other day, Ramakrishna's disciple Swami Brahmananda. He would have varieties of experiences. What's the point? What do you do with that? Because you're not looking for experience, you're not trying to, it'll come. Whatever needs to come will come. Whatever is required for us to go further will come. Or to help somebody. You'll also get experiences where you could possibly help someone. You'll be able to guide someone, or you'll be able to impart something to somebody. That may also happen, which is why also you may get an experience. Or through the experience, you may be able to understand something or someone better. So whatever is required will come. Right? So that's very important. So we make ourselves receiving, and then whatever Devi gives, we'll receive. Okay. Okay. So with that, we'll close today. Om Kayena Vacha Manasendriyerva Buddhyatmana Va Prakrite Swabhava Karomi Yatyat Sakalam Parasmai Narayanayeti Samarpayami Sadashivayeti Samarpayami Jagadambikaye iti Samarpayami Sadgurunathayeti Samarpayami Hari Om Tat Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Hari Om.